Hey guys, welcome to Kluge Tech Time. I'm David, and this is Daily Droning With. And in this case, we're talking with Mike from Drone Supremacy. Mike, welcome.
Hello. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, thanks for taking the time to join us. I know that you're kind of on the
Pleasure.
other side of the world compared to where I'm at. Do you mind talking a little bit about that? I think you're in Bulgaria, is that right?
Yes, indeed. Yeah, so that's Eastern Europe, Bulgaria, and as we figured out, we are 7 hours behind each other. So it makes for interesting, uh, you know, um, way to connect with other people from across the globe. And once again, I would just want to thank you for having me. It's a pleasure.
Yeah, no problem. So, what is it like living in Bulgaria? So, yeah, I've got this picture in my head that Bulgaria is just an absolute beautiful place near the Black Sea.
It
Is that
is.
right?
Yes, it is. That's correct. Well, everyone loves saying good things about their country, so I don't really want to make it seem like it's the best place to be, but it's really beautiful. Especially the nature is one of the best things about Bulgaria. It's just so beautiful. We have mountains, we have the sea. I'm lucky enough to live right next to the sea, so if I want to film something involving the water, I'm just 10 minutes away from the beach, and I just love that. So wherever I go, I always look for water. I'm so used to living near water, and it's just part of who I am, so I really love it. But in the winter time, we also have great, ski resorts and all sorts of different places, which are just great to go to, and yeah, it's just really beautiful.
Yeah, that's awesome. I'm actually jealous of that. Where I live now, I don't really have any real mountains anywhere near, and I don't live anywhere near a big body of water. And those are two of the things that I just absolutely love. So I'm jealous of that.
Yeah, well, you have some other positive things about your country, so you shouldn't be too jealous.
Yeah, yeah. Do you mind talking a little bit about your background in terms of, is what you do in your real life anywhere related to technology and drones and anything like that, or I mean, is it closely related or like so far
Yeah,
away?
I would love to talk more about that. So I'm 30 years old. I know not many people would say that I look 30, but I am. I just turned 30 a couple of months ago, and I've been a web developer, I would say, for quite a few years, and it wasn't really my thing. So at one point, I started looking to just find a new hobby in my free time, and I got myself a drone. I got the Phantom 3 Standard, which at the time was one of the best drones, but it wasn't that special. I had lots of issues with the signal strength, with all sorts of different things, but it was my first ever drone, so this is what started my passion for drones. And once I started flying it, I realized I really loved the whole idea about flying and taking photos from different angles. And this was something that I've been really passionate about ever since I started flying. I'm not a huge photographer or videographer. I was never involved with any sorts of cameras before. But once I got my first drone, I think this just sparked a new passion in me. So this was the beginning of everything. And slowly but surely, I really got just crazy about flying. So this is what started everything. And eventually, when I upgraded to other drones, it made it so much more than it was in the beginning. And that's how I started making my videos and everything. And that's how I keep doing what I'm doing right now.
Yeah, I think we have a relatively similar journey. I was kind of the same way, and I talked about this, I think, with Ken in one of the previous episodes. But uh, my wife is a professional photographer, and I would grab her camera and throw it in automatic and take a few pictures of things. And I kind of liked it, but I never really got into it. And when I first got my Spark was my first drone, and once I got that, I just like it was just became a passion in terms of the drones as well as the photography and videography and learning everything
Absolutely.
I could about it. And that's kind of how I am in real life. I come from an IT background myself as well, and I don't like knowing how things work, or I don't like how knowing I don't not I can't even speak.
That
So I don't
happens to me
like
all the
not
time.
knowing how things work, right? I have to know
Yeah,
how
yeah,
everything
yeah, yeah.
works, and so diving in
Yeah,
and
you want to
learning,
figure them out. Yeah.
yeah, and trying to share that experience with other people has been a lot of fun for me.
Indeed, indeed. It's the same for me, and I think people always appreciate when you go through the same problems as they do, when you show them the solutions and you just show them the real side of how things are happening to you. I think people are really enjoying that type of content. So in that aspect, I think we are very much alike.
Yeah, very much so. And going back to kind of where you come from, I think I'd seen somewhere in one of your profiles that you'd mentioned that yeah, you've lived and grown up in Bulgaria, but maybe you've lived somewhere else. Do you mind talking about
Yeah,
that?
yeah, I did. So when I finished high school, I went to university here in Varna, Bulgaria, my hometown, and it was in the IT area. So it was interesting for me. I've always had a passion for IT and computers in general, as most guys do. And afterwards, I decided to follow something which I wanted to do for a very long time, and that is to live abroad. So I went to study in Denmark, and I had my master degree there. I was there for 3 years. My master degree only lasted 2 years, but I stayed for one more, and it was a real, a real experience, like something that really impacted me, because living by yourself in a country which you've never visited before, with people who are quite different from what you're used to in terms of their manners, their way of communicating with others. They are a bit not so open, I would say, compared to you guys in the US, for example. Scandinavian people in general are, just a bit different than the rest of the world, but I don't say that in a bad way. They're just different. So it took me a while to, get used to being there, to live there, to study there. But eventually it was a great lesson for me to, to learn how to deal with things by myself. And I'm very, very thankful for this whole chapter of my life. It was just really cool experience in general. And I met some crazy, nice people who I'm very thankful for having in my life still to this day. So
Yeah.
that was
Oh,
a
that's
a
awesome.
very positive experience for me. And it also improved my English quite a lot. So that helped as well.
Yeah, that was one of the questions I was going to ask about. So, I've always been surprised every time I've traveled to other countries how well people speak English. I mean, I barely speak English myself, and I've lived here in the U.S. the whole time. People ask me if I know another language, and I tell them I barely can speak my first language. So, you get
Yeah, yeah.
you speak so well.
Thank
So
you.
that was one of the questions I was definitely going to ask was, what your experience was, where that kind of led you to be able to speak so well.
Well, and I think in most countries outside of the US, it's kind of like the norm to speak English. If you want to go
Yeah.
anywhere outside of your country, if you want to succeed at anything you do, you have to at least know English. And in Europe, in general, I think it's like you need to speak at least two or three languages just to so you can bring something to the table, because nowadays
Right.
speaking English is not that hard. Everyone does it. So you have to be like fluent in at least two or three more languages. So I think it's just a cultural thing. People here are just, well, not everyone, but most people are looking to learn a few languages just so they can have more things to be useful for. And
Yeah.
that's something normal, I would say.
Yeah, I was always surprised that, I've had several trips to Germany and to Spain and a few other places. And uh, my wife is, her mom's side of the family is German. And, I tried to learn a few words, and we'd go into a store or a restaurant or something. And especially if you're talking with a younger person, I'd try and say a few words in German, and they just automatically start
Yeah,
speaking
yeah,
English to
yeah,
me
yeah. I had the
because they
same
knew I didn't know what I
experience
was talking about.
in Denmark when I was trying to learn Danish. For 2.5 years, I was studying very hard because it's just who I am. I don't want to be like left on the side. I wanted to participate in the community that we had, and I wanted to speak. their language, but you know, as soon as you start speaking and they realize you're not fluent in that language, they're just okay, forget about it, let's switch to English. And sometimes it sucks
Yeah.
because you just want to try, but they don't really want to try it with you. So
Yeah.
it's how that works, I guess.
Yeah, my wife's uncle spoke a little bit of English, and some of the best conversations I had were with him, and they were really intimate conversations because he barely spoke English, and so we were both having to work really hard to try
Yeah,
and
yeah.
communicate. And I'll always remember those conversations with
Those
him.
are
I
the
had good
ones that
times.
stick with you and you remember them for a long time.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
So in terms of your YouTube channel, I don't remember exactly when it was that I kind of started seeing you and coming up in my YouTube feed, but in preparation for this, I kind of went back and kind of trolled through your YouTube channel and stuff, and I noticed some of your first YouTube videos were about the DJI Spark.
Yeah.
So what kind of made you kind of start with the Spark in terms of I think you mentioned before that you started with the Phantom
The Phantom
3,
3, yeah.
but I don't remember you seeing any of those videos. Why with the Spark did you start uploading videos, and why did you choose the Spark?
So, like I said, I was a bit frustrated in the beginning with this with the Phantom 3. So, after a few months of owning that drone, I decided it's time to just sell it and move to something else. But in the meantime, I didn't have anything else. So I sold the drone, and I was looking to find something nice to replace it with. And then I got the news that the Spark is coming very soon. You know, at that time there were plenty of rumors and leaked photos and stuff like that. So I was ready for the Spark, and I decided when that drone arrives, I will just buy it and go through everything that I learned about it and just share it. Because I was always passionate about sharing what I'm learning, and at the time with the Phantom, I wasn't really sure I wanted to do that, but it was my wife actually who made me. She just pushed me to do it, and I'm very
Oh,
thankful
that's
to her
cool.
because she was the one that
Yeah.
made me create the channel, and I was at first I was really skeptical that I even want to do it because I was afraid of the camera. I was not comfortable in front of the camera, and that
Yep.
didn't really change for such a long time. It took me very long time to relax in front of the camera, and
Yeah.
at first I was really sure that this thing is not for me. But she made me do it. I guess she saw something in me. So
That's
I just want
awesome.
to thank her once again for that, because it's really the one thing that I love the most right now in terms of work. It's to make videos and to share them. Because if you make something that you're really proud of and you don't share it with anyone, I mean, it brings you pleasure, it brings you happiness, but the happiness
Yeah.
comes from sharing it with other people who might benefit from it. So it's really something that I found when I started this YouTube channel. So yeah, I started with the Spark, and eventually it all started happening because of the Spark. It was just one of these drones that I will remember forever, simply because it was just great for me in all different aspects. It was great for photos. I took it on a few trips, and it was just a pleasure to create the videos which I did back then. So I think the Spark was what made my channel really, well, I wouldn't say successful, but what made it what it is right now, because tons of people found me through the Spark videos and stuck with me since then. So even now I get comments, are you going to make more Spark videos and stuff like that? So yeah, that was what started my channel.
Yeah, that's awesome, and that's great that you have a partner that sees something in you and really is encouraging. It would be awesome if everybody had such a great
Definitely,
partner to
that's a
be able
huge help
to push you. That's when you know you got somebody special. So
for
that's
sure.
awesome.
That's why I married her
Yeah.
afterwards.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
awesome. So what drones do you currently have? Do you still have the Spark?
No, I gave it to a friend of mine who was really looking for a way to join the drone community, and I think the Spark is probably the best way to enter the drone community in general, because you can do so much with it. So I gave it to him. I used to have the Mavic Air. I don't have it anymore. I gave it to another friend of mine. But now I do have the Mavic 2 Pro, I have the Mavic Mini, and I do have my FPV drone. Those are,
Gotcha.
I think
Cool.
those are the ones that I have right now. I try not to have too
Sounds like
many. You know, it's really easy to get carried away and just buy everything and keep it at your place. But I'm not one of those people that enjoy having too many options. I prefer to stick with a couple of drones which I know I'm going to use,
Yeah.
and just use them all the time.
Yeah, I think I need to learn that lesson as well.
Yeah.
I got too much. If I, you can see a couple
Yeah,
somewhere back
yeah,
there.
I see them. I
So
see them. Yeah, I'm the same way right now. I have I have three gimbals right now, and ask me
okay.
why I have three gimbals. I don't use them at all. I use just one, and the other two are just sitting there. So in 2020, I promised myself to get rid of all the gear which I'm not using, just so I can focus on the things I'm using and making better content. Because gear is, you know, everyone says that, and it's really the truth that gear is not everything. It's how you use it. If you can use an old camera and just create masterpieces with it, and you can use the newest camera and still suck at it. So it's really not all about the gear.
Yeah,
But
you're
I do
100%
enjoy
right.
I do enjoy having, you know, the latest gear. Of course, that comes with what we do. But I realize more and more that it's not that important for me and my channel.
Yeah, absolutely. I agree 100%. And I kind of have the same goal for 2020 as well. Not just with drones, but in my whole life, to kind of just pare things down a little bit, make things more simple,
Yeah,
declutter, and just focus on the things that are important and
exactly.
so on. So
I think it's a good
that's
idea.
cool. Yeah. Yeah, so of course you mentioned FPV, and that's one of the big reasons I really wanted to talk to you, because I'm 100% jealous of your FPV journey so far. What really kind of led you to decide to go down that path?
You know, I've always been really fascinated with FPV in general. Just the type of shots that
Yeah,
people are
same here.
getting is it's crazy. But I always thought it's too complicated. It's just crazy hard to learn. Even though I had some experience with the Mavics and other drones I've flown, but you know, everyone kept telling me it's so different. It's so much harder, and it really is. But for some reason, I thought it's too hard for me. So for a long period of time, I kept it at the back of my head, just thinking about it, but not really doing anything about it. And I think the one thing that really pushed me to go and pursue this thing was the DJI FPV system. When it was announced, I was like, okay, I'll just have to order this and see what happens, because it was really a game changer in my opinion. I know many people would not be too happy about this and might not agree with me, because the DJI FPV system still has quite a lot of haters for some reason. But you know, I have also flown analog a couple of times. I flew today with a friend of mine on his Fat Shark goggles, and it's fine. But it's just fine. It's nothing special. But when you put on these goggles, it's just so crystal clear, and it makes such a big difference that you just cannot ignore that. So as soon as I saw the major difference that these goggles are bringing to the game, I just started thinking about how can I actually do something about it and get into FPV myself. So it took me a few months to actually decide to order them. I didn't order them straight away, but I did start with the simulator first. And I decided to record all of this for anyone who is like me and is looking to get into FPV. It's the same thing I've been doing with the Spark and the rest of the drones. I decided to just document everything and see and show the people how I am going through things, what problems I'm facing, and how things are working or not working for me. And I think it was quite interesting for other people to get to see this transition from regular drones to FPV as well. So I get a lot of comments on a daily basis about my FPV setup, how things are working, what should I do to get into FPV, and you know, I point them towards these videos because I think they show all the information that I've learned from starting.
Yeah, that's awesome. So what do you think some people are kind of not excited about DJI entering that particular market? Do you think it's just because it's
Yeah,
DJI and nobody
yeah.
likes,
I think it's just because of the
the
name.
giant of
Yeah,
the industry,
yeah.
or
I think that's it. For some
uh
reason, as soon as people hear the name DJI, they don't like it. And even with the local FPV community, which I joined recently when I started flying, they like DJI, but not so much that they would switch to DJI. So for some reason, they are against DJI. I don't know why, but it's really funny to hear them say that. And as soon as I let them fly my drone and use the goggles, they're like, "Wow, this is so cool, so
wow,
different,
yeah,
and it's so clear."
yeah,
And a couple of guys already told me that they are going to buy. One of them already bought the DJI FPV system just from watching how clear the image is, and he was sold. So he,
yeah.
he went and bought it.
Yeah, I have to say that once DJI released their HD system, my desire to enter that sort of a system really just went from here
Yeah,
to way up
yeah,
here. I've always really enjoyed the flying part of it, right, and the view that you get and stuff. And with the analog FPV system, it's almost like you're watching it through a potato. I mean, the display
yeah,
is so
yeah.
small, it's so grainy, it breaks up so much. With that HD system, it just seems like it's much closer to the visual experience that you get with a Mavic or something
It
along
is,
those
it is,
lines.
it is. But it's not perfect though. I mean, you still get some
Yeah,
breakups, and sometimes the image gets blurry, and that's even worse than when analog picture breaks, because even when the analog picture breaks, you can still see something, and for the digital system, when it breaks, you don't see anything. It's just one huge mess on your screen. So it is.
yeah, and it's not like with your Mavic you can just let off the
No,
sticks and it'll
no,
just hover
no,
where you're
no.
at, right?
You
Yeah,
have to remember where you are. And actually, today it happened to me. I lost connection because I pushed the system too much. So when that happens, you just have to know and have some type of situational awareness to just know where to continue flying. And just for a couple of seconds, you lose signal, but then it goes back. So, it's every system has their issues and problems, but for me this is
yeah,
the
of
one
course.
system that made it possible for me to join FPV, because it's just also when you build your drone, or when you buy your drone in my case, it's a lot easier to use the digital system. It makes it a whole lot easier to connect everything. The whole general building process takes less time when using DJI. So that's something else that
Yeah.
people maybe are considering when thinking about joining FPV. So for me, it just worked.
Yeah, and I think that's always been one of my kind of concerns. I've never soldered in anything, so the build process has always been a little bit of a mental hurdle. And I know that if I just dove in, I could make
For
it
sure.
happen. Plenty of YouTube videos and stuff to be able to watch and learn how to build it. But that's always been, I think, kind of a mental barrier as
I feel the
well
same way.
for I think a lot of people. I don't think I'm the only one there. And I think that you chose to go a slightly different
Yeah,
route, and you chose to buy kind of a
yeah,
pre-built
yeah.
one, right?
Just because of the same thoughts I had like you. I knew that I might be able to start and to build it from scratch by myself. But sooner or later you will face some issues, some problems. And at the time, I didn't know anyone who can help me if I had any issues. So I decided that maybe when the problem comes, I'll be by myself and I'll be stuck with something that is not working, for which I've paid so much money. So I don't really know how to deal with that. So I decided to, at least in the beginning, to start with the pre-configured, pre-built drone. And I'm quite happy I did that, because it allowed me to very quickly jump into the FPV world, get to know these guys who I'm flying with right now, make some awesome friends, and just start. And from now on, if I need, or actually should I say, when I need some help when fixing my drone, I know the people who can help me. I already feel a lot more comfortable fixing things on my drone, because I've already broken a few things. So it just gives you that peace of mind, and gives you the ability to just start and just see how it works.
Yeah.
So for me, that was more important at the time. So now I feel good about the drone. I can probably fix a few things by myself, and if I can't, I just use the help of the people who I already met. So I think for me that worked just the best, but I'm sure many people would prefer to build it by themselves. It's just a matter of personal preference, I think.
Yeah, I think it's great to at least have that option, because I think a lot of people maybe are really interested in flying and not so interested in building and so on. And I know there's you know, the whole FPV community has really been built off of the whole build, fly,
Yeah.
repeat, build, fly, fix, repeat.
Yeah.
I guess it is. But you know, there's a certain population, especially those of us, I guess, who are coming from kind of the camera drone situation.
Yeah.
You know, for me, the interest is really about the flying and
Exactly.
the capturing the images and that kind of stuff. And so if I'm able to just buy something and get into it and start, you know, get that bug, that passion
Yeah.
for the flying part, then, you know, oh, okay, well, I have to
Yeah,
fix
that won't
things.
stop
Then
you
maybe
afterwards
that's
when you need to fix something.
yeah. Yeah, so that's great, and I'm really glad that you were able to go down that path and show that is a viable
It
path
is,
to
and
get
now
into
more
it. So
companies are
yeah,
starting to build these drones and sell them, sell the pre-built drones. So you have a large selection of different drones that you can choose, and it's not hard to find a good one, depending on what you're looking for.
cool. So what do you have? What do you have coming up next with your YouTube channel? You got more
For
FPV
sure,
coming, of
for
course,
sure.
I assume, and you got anything else in the works that you're thinking about?
Yeah, so in 2020, I'm really looking to up my game and just create a ton of great looking videos, both FPV and regular drones as well. Right now, my heart is in FPV, but of course that doesn't mean I'm going to stop my regular content, which people are familiar with until now. So my plan is just to improve, get better, and FPV in general is something that is really challenging. So I'm trying to just challenge myself, get better shots, and just share. That's the plan. And as far as regular drones, we have quite a few different drones which are going to be released in 2020. So I'm really looking forward to that. Maybe the Mavic
Yeah.
3, the Autels, the Skyrios, all of these drones are really interesting. Unfortunately, since I'm in Bulgaria, many of them are not available here as of right now. But yeah, I'm keeping an eye on them, and I just want to create the best content I can and just share it. That's the plan.
Yeah, that's awesome. So which of those drones and of course we don't know exactly what the Mavic 3 will eventually be. We don't know when it will be, but of all the drones that there's discussion about that have just been announced and that are maybe rumored, like the Mavic 3, what are you most excited about?
I'm definitely mostly excited about the Mavic 3, but I don't really know if DJI will be able to overcome what we saw from the Skydio and from Autel. I really don't know if they will be able to catch up with them as far as specs go. But DJI is DJI, so they'll probably have something quite interesting for the Mavic 3. So I'm really excited about that. I don't really know what could it be that would make the Mavic 3 so much better than the Mavic 2. But I guess we'll see. But for now, my Mavic 2 is perfect in all aspects. It's just perfect. So I don't really know how the Mavic 3 will be so much better than the 2. But hopefully DJI will push the boundaries quite a lot to catch up with the other companies. So we'll see something interesting, very, very interesting, hopefully.
Skydio and Autel raising the bar. I think, Skydio, I think a lot of people have talked about Skydio really kind of pushing the industry forward with their obstacle avoidance and their follow technology, and then Autel pushing the industry, I think, in terms of flight time, that 40 minutes, and then because pretty much
Insane.
everybody else that are the main players have been somewhere around the 30-minute mark. So bumping it up to 40 minutes is really kind of a pretty big deal in my opinion. And then those
Absolutely.
8K and 6K cameras. I was talking with Ken on the last episode. I just didn't see that coming in a foldable drone. I expected
Me
it maybe
neither.
to come in
Me
a
neither.
larger
It's-
drone like an Inspire or something like that, but I definitely didn't see 6 or 8K coming.
That's crazy. It's crazy. And from what I've seen so far, from the sample clips which people have been sharing, it looks really good. Really, really good. So I'm really impressed. Too bad I won't be able to play with these drones anytime soon. But so yeah, I'm very jealous for that. But it looks really cool, and I'm very happy for the people who will be able to use these drones. They definitely look very, very cool.
Yeah, you never know. Maybe someone with some influence at Autel will figure out a way to get one over to you. You never know.
Yeah. If they do, I'm very open for
Yeah,
that.
yeah. You're like, I'm here.
I'm here. You know where to find me. Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. Definitely. So cool. So of all the drones that you've flown that you currently have, if you were just going out for yourself to capture some beautiful place, you weren't making a YouTube video, you weren't nobody else was watching, you were just doing this for yourself, what drone would you take with you?
If you had asked me this same question probably 2 months ago, I would have said the Mavic 2 Pro.
Yeah.
Now it's too late. It's just too late for anything besides FPV. It's just, yeah, FPV for sure.
Yeah.
After watching some crazy travel vlogs and videos from other people, FPV flyers who are also making some cinematic footage with their videos, I have to say this is just on another level, because everyone can pick up a Mavic and just create some smooth, nice looking shots, but it takes real talent to create a nice FPV video. So I think this is what makes a big difference in our community. Just those shots, they give you so much freedom. So if I have to choose now, I'll take the FPV drone and slap a GoPro on it and just try to create something epic.
Yeah, that's awesome. I kind of had that feeling. Well, I knew that was going to be the answer before I asked.
Yeah, you knew it from the start.
Yeah, that's cool. Yeah, and I can't wait to be able to dive in myself as well. So that's awesome.
Yeah, you should. And I'm always available if you need anything, because I know you will have plenty of questions. So I'll be very happy to share what I know.
Oh, I appreciate that. I really do. So I know you're a busy man. You got a lot of stuff going on. So I just have one last question. This is the question. I think maybe I'm going to make this the way that I end pretty much all my videos. I just started out on a whim with Rust.
What it is already.
But so when you're just hanging out in the evening, you're just chilling out, by yourself, maybe watching TV or doing whatever you do in the evening, hanging out with your wife. What's kind of your drink of choice that you go to?
I'm usually a beer guy, and I still don't understand how Russ could say that he doesn't drink beer. Still sounds crazy
he
to
doesn't
me,
even
but
like it, right?
Yeah, I'm starting to see Russ from a very different side, and I'm not sure I enjoy that side. But I do enjoy beer, and that's the drink that I drink most of the nights, but occasionally I do allow myself to drink some whiskey. I love whiskey as well, so sometimes I do that as well, but generally I keep it to just beer. I'm not a huge drinker, so just a few beers to relax and chill at night is what my choice would be, I guess.
I think that's what everybody's going to say when I ask that question. I'm not a huge drinker, as they pull up their whiskey. Yeah.
My whiskey bottle is right behind the camera right now.
Nice. Well, awesome. I really appreciate you taking the time to join us and have a discussion. I really enjoyed it. And I'm really looking forward to more of your videos coming out. And for everybody else, if you aren't already subscribed to Mike, definitely go check out his channel. There will be a link down in the description below and probably up in the card somewhere up there as well. So check him out. He's got some great content, and I'm really looking forward to what he's got coming. So thanks, Mike. Appreciate it.
Thank you. It was a pleasure.
All right, guys, get out and go fly it. Hope to see you on another one soon. Ciao.